Verse 2. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. I mean, I think it's kind of clear here immediately what Jesus is saying, of whom he's speaking. Right? There are two types of branches. In the Old Testament, there were the elect and the non-elect in the land amongst the Jews. Okay, not amongst the Gentiles. They were the non-elect, and some of them sometimes became part of the elect, right? But they were speaking to the Jews, and it was very clear there were the groups that followed all the other gods, that were worshipping all the other gods. Isaiah wrote about it, Jeremiah wrote about it. I mean, all the other prophets wrote about it, not all of them, because Jonah, he went to Nineveh, kind of, so he didn't really write about them, but more about others. Anyhow, so. But in general, this is why God sent prophets to tell the people that you call yourself, you think you are my children, but you worship all these other false gods. I love it how Isaiah, and we will still get to Isaiah, God willing, how Isaiah kind of used this example, like you go into the forest, you cut off a piece of wood, and you come back, and part of it you burn for food, to make food, another part you put, and there's lots of this, on this island here in Bali with the Indus, and you make a god out of it, and the thing can't even move. You need to move it around, kind of, right? So it's super funny, actually. Like read these things in Isaiah, I think it's super funny. But I mean, it shows how stupid we are now, and so there were always these two groups amongst those who claimed to be, or those who were Jews, right? So amongst the Jews, there were those who were truly Jews, who truly believed in God, and then there were those who they brought the offerings and all this, but they picked the worst. They didn't care, so as long as and then get it back home, they would go and they worship other gods as well, go up the hills to worship other gods there, all over the place, just like modern Christians, right? There are those lots of people claiming to be Christian, but they're not Christian, right? It's just a claim, but that doesn't make them a Christian. Just because you claim something, there ought to be fruit. And so I think this is plain simple. Then those allusions in the Old Testament, where we clearly see these two groups of people, the one group, both of them claim to be Jews. The one group truly Jews, another group not, and Jesus is making this very clear as well here. Okay, so there are those who is bearing fruit, and there are those who are not bearing fruit. Okay, those not bearing fruit, they will be taken away. Those bearing fruit will be pruned, so they can bear more fruit. Okay, it does not contradict anything. Jesus said those who have little, that will be taken away from them, and to others it will be given, kind of idea. The parable of the talents, the one that got only one, he went and he buried it, and that was taken away from him. He had some, and it was taken away from him ultimately. And the others who had and who worked hard, they got extra, kind of. So that is the same kind of idea. Jesus said by the fruit. He said earlier, how will here in John is, how will they know that you love me? And you need to keep my commandments, right? If you keep my commandments, you're supposed to. If you love me, you keep my commandments. So if you do the deeds of Christ, so those who do the deeds of Christ, love Christ, they will bear fruit. So in other words, they're not just claiming to be something, they are something. They are children of God. They are disciples. They are the chosen by God, right? But then those who claim to be, right, the wolf in the sheep, oh, look at me, I'm such a great Christian, kind of, I mean, look at what I'm doing. I'm teaching and sitting in a bus, and I'm teaching the word of God, kind of, I'm just this brilliant Christian. And at the same time, you don't care for 1 second about God, right? Then, or don't follow the words of Jesus. Then, what the heck does it mean? It doesn't mean anything, right? You're just a wolf, and that's that. And so you're not bearing really fruit. There are lots of people out on this planet, Christians, people calling themselves Christians, who are not Christian at all. Oh, a heck of a lot of them. It's just a cultural thing. It's just a thing to be not kicked out of church. Oh man, yeah, I can go on and on. I've seen it so much in my life. It's horrendous, and they all claim to be. They do miracles supposedly, kind of, but they have no idea. No idea of who Jesus truly is, and etc. Right? So they are not bearing fruit, right? They're not bearing fruit. Why? Because they don't belong to Him. You belong to Him, you will bear fruit. Before the foundation of the world, God prepared good deeds for you to do. Plain simple. It's ABC. It's so simple. Okay, so if you are a child of God, you will bear fruit. Why? Because God is the one who saved you. God, the one who elected you, gave you the Spirit, did everything for you, and will prepare good deeds for you to do. Right? So He did it. He's not going to just save you and say, okay, now you can have a holiday in Bali for till you die kind of idea, just sit on the beach and doing bintang or something like that. Okay, now for Baptists this would be total anathema. So that is not what God did. He prepared good deeds. But if you're not His, if you don't belong to Him, if your heart doesn't, you can claim to be His. But He then did not. Since you're not His, He didn't prepare good deeds. So you're not going to do good deeds. And so therefore you don't belong to Him. So it doesn't matter what the heck you're claiming or not claiming. You don't belong to Him. That's just that. Okay? And so this is then, from the beginning, you clearly need to understand what He's speaking about. So He's not speaking about losing salvation, not losing. He's speaking of that those who don't bear fruit, in other words, they're not saved. They will be. Okay, so like people in the nation of Israel who said they were circumcised, they could show it in their bodies, the men, right? But they did not because they worshipped other gods. So they were not truly Israel. And they were not part of it. They all died. Remember, they're in the desert. They all died in the desert. So it's not all Israel are true Israel. Okay? And this is the same, exactly the same thing here. The New Testament analogy of that Old Testament concept. Not all Israel is Israel. Not all Christians are Christians. Plain simple. So if you bear fruit, then you are chosen, and then you are His, and you will be pruned to bear more fruit. But if you are not His, and you just claim to be His, right? You're not bearing fruit. And what then? You'll be cut off because you don't belong to Him. That's that. Plain simple.